Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel where we are about to get into episode 8 of Lazarus, Forgivable Fire. On last week's episode, we was left with two pretty big cliffhangers. The first one was that the leader of the Lazarus group, Hersha, was a colleague of Dr. Skinner. The second one is Christina. Well, we know her as Christina, but she went by another name, and this secret group knew her and they captured her. So at the beginning of this episode, Hersha explains her relationship with Dr. Skinner and the beginning stages of Hepera itself. He also explains that Skinner just disappeared out of the blue, and then 3 years later, that's when he popped up and then he developed the cure. We also learned that Hersha became the leader of the Lazarus group because of her relationship with Dr. Skinner. Now, the last we saw Christina, she was kidnapped by the group in episode 7. Now, when we first see her, she is tied up in a chair in a isolated room, but we learned that she is on an oil rig out in the middle of nowhere. She's held captured and she is interrogated, and then we learned that Christina was a part of a Russian special task force. We also learned that she faked her death, a part of a incident that happened in Russia. She changed her identity, got facial reconstruction surgery, and began a new life. Due to everything that happened, she is deemed a traitor and they are going to turn her back in. So we think. Now, back at the Lazarus headquarters, after Hersha tells them the truth about her relationship with Skinner, she also tells them the truth about Christina and about her past. After the group learns about her being captured, they devise the plan and they go on a suicide mission to go and rescue her. Now, we are officially 8 episodes into the series. Now, I like the series as a whole, but I don't love it. And an episode like this is one of the reasons why I don't love this series. One of the problems I have with this show is the character development with the people within the Lazarus group. I don't know too much about them, but you'll have episodes like this when you'll get an exposition dump. And it's like if the writers want you to care about these individuals, but I don't really have any real attachments to them, and there was no build up to you actually caring about them, compared to somebody like Elena, who did have a whole episode dedicated to her, learning about her background and the cult that she grew up in. They did a better job leaning into that, where at the end of the episode you do learn a lot about her. You could sympathize for the character. Or when we first meet Axel, we learn about him in the first episode. More of an understanding of Doug and his background as well from the previous episodes. The characters of Leland and Chris, they really don't do too much with them. And I know in this episode, it's more of an episode dedicated to her. But this episode is a mess. I did touch on the writing earlier. I hated the way that they wrote the antagonists in this episode. This old task squad that she used to work for, the leader who was in charge of everything, and the second in command. Just unhinged, out of control, and just always wanted to torture her at every second that he could, and just also just breaking rank. I conveyed that he didn't like her because she was a traitor, but it didn't really make any sense of how they conveyed it. With this being a 13 episode series, you would figure that every episode should count and they wouldn't waste a episode. If it was between about maybe 25-30 episodes, I could see if you could have an episode like this thrown in here, but it just kind of throws a wrench within the story, especially when they only have about 2 weeks left in time to figure out where Skinner is. And you learn about the relationship that Chris has with the woman in charge, then it was more to it But at the end of how they tied that up, it just became a little unnecessary, predictable, and I've seen them do things like this, and you can kind of spot it a mile away. But even for all the negatives that I have for this episode, there is some positive. I always like to see them working as a team together, the Lazarus group, I mean. And then seeing them jump right into action to save Chris because she is one of their own, and them just devising a plan, basically going on this suicide mission to go and get her back. And the animation is, it's still fine. The choreography, wasn't an issue. It was kind of interesting to see Chris in the element of her somewhat devise a plan and try to get out of the situation that she was in, and kind of putting her in the forefront with some of the action scenes that she did have. Leland on the tech side, being out in the field. Elena in the background, doing everything behind the keyboards. But overall, I wish they would just kind of pick up the pace with the show. Like I said, it's not that this is a terrible episode. It's just with it being 13 episodes for the series, I wish they would, Axel will always be doing things that Axel be doing. Stay more on the task of hand. If this was more episodes within the series, like I said, it would be okay if they have a filler episode like this in here to have character development and throw in a side story so you can learn more about your characters. Just don't have enough time to be spending on, just side stories like this. But let me know how you guys feel about this episode. If you agree with me, if you disagree, leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know how you guys feel about the series as a whole, especially since it's going to be coming to an end real soon. And once again, thank you guys for listening to my Lazarus review. If this is your first time here, thank you for checking out the channel. We also have more than just the Lazarus reviews here on the channel. If you want to keep up with more than just the Lazarus reviews, if you are a movie or a TV person, come check out our reviews on the channel with the latest movie reviews and movie news and information that we be bringing you guys on the daily. This is AR Movie Memos. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with all the new notifications that's going to be on the page. So again, thank you for checking out the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next review.